You know, you should quit. That's bad for you.
Yeah. So is being in a gang, dipshit.
Are killers.
This Zippo, an American icon made famous by US soldiers during World War II and the Vietnam War. The Zippo is without a doubt the most popular cigarette lighter of all time. But it's not looking good for the Zippo, with US Zippo sales steadily declining since their peak in the 1990s, and US smoking rates falling from 20.9% in 2005 to 11.5% in 2021 as a consequence of ever more restricting smoking laws and the public's familiarity of the negative health impact caused by smoking. Zippo is thereby forced to put their focus on foreign markets like China and Japan to compensate their lack of US sales and expand their product line beyond just the Zippo lighter. With Western anti-smoking attitudes and ever more restricting tobacco regulations, the Zippo looks like to have made its last iconic ping in the West. Zippo lighters, that is the topic of today's video. In this video I want to discuss Zippo lighters and why in my opinion they still have a place in Western society or society as a whole as cigarette smoking accessory tool, because of course it was initially designed or intended for cigarette smokers as a way to light their cigarettes. I think it's a real shame that Zippos are not really that they aren't really common anymore in society, because as I said probably in the intro, the sales of Zippos have been falling steadily since the 1990s because of numerous reasons. Anyway, what do we think about when we think about Zippo? It's of course its windproof capabilities, and of course this classic chimney design that's been going strong for almost 100 years. This classic chimney design that just encapsulates the flame right here and prevents your cigarette lighter from going out as a consequence from winds. So that is actually the main reason why a lot of people till this day still buy Zippo lighters, because of its windproof capabilities. And it's of course very strange because as I said in the intro, ever stricter smoking laws, especially in the West, compel us to smoke 99% of our cigarettes that we would smoke, that we have to smoke them outside, right? So 99% of the cigarettes that we're smoking are being smoked outside, and we'd think logically, okay, well that is really where the Zippo lighter shines, right? That's like its main purpose. Its main intended purpose is for smoking outside because of its windproof capabilities. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's hailing, thunderstorm. It doesn't matter, because I know every time that I do this and I do this, my cigarette lighter will work, my Zippo will work, and I can just easily light my cigarette. Yeah, it's actually the main point that I want to make, so it's really strange. And I have a couple of anecdotes, well not really anecdotes, like things I noticed when using a Zippo, which are quite interesting as a cigarette smoker. So, as a cigarette smoker, it's quite normal for people to ask you for a light. So, and I give them the Zippo, and some people, they really don't know what it is. They open it like on the wrong side. They're like fumbling around, and oh yeah, finally, and then they just flick it like 5 times, and then it finally lights. And you can just clearly see that they have never used a Zippo before in their life. So it really goes to show how much of a niche product a Zippo lighter has become. How it's been pushed into obscurity by the general public, because yeah, a lot that's like a good sample, right? They give some ordinary people a Zippo lighter, and let's see if they know how it works. But it goes to show, in my experience, most people, there are some exceptions that just, oh yeah, it's a Zippo lighter, okay, I can just do it like that. But most people, they never use Zippo lighters. It's just fallen into obscurity, which is very strange. And also, I was standing at a traffic stop, and it's quite a busy traffic stop where like 50 people are around me, and I just lit my cigarette, And I kid you not, like 15 people turned around and just looked at me like I was some bloody alien. Like, what is that sound? What is he doing? Is that a bomb or something? I thought to myself, well, no, it's of course, it's a Zippo lighter. Never heard that sound before. It's like the most iconic sound of the 20th century. But most people, yeah, they just didn't know what it was. They were just frowning at me like, mate, what are you doing? So, it really shows you how much of a niche fashion object how obscure this object has become. It's like the Zippo lighter, once a staple in culture, in our culture, has become like a really obscure thing to use. And of course, what is Zippo also known for? It's of course its quality and durability. Like I said in the intro, if American soldiers used it to liberate Europe, liberate my country as well from the damn Nazis, it is probably good enough for civilian use. So that is of course another reason. Or Vietnam soldiers, not Vietnam soldiers, I mean US Marines that used it extensively in Vietnam. So it's probably good for a civilian like me to use it. And speaking of like the Vietnam War, it of course has a lot of sentimental value, or a lot of people really attach a lot of value to Zippos, because they're of course being passed down from generation to generation. And that's really unique with the Zippo. It's really a timeless object, a timeless piece that can last easily a lifetime or even longer. So for countless generations, if you take care of it. Because it's a timeless design, design has remained unchanged since 1932. I think Zippos have been. I'm not sure on the exact date, but I think it's like in the 1930s. The first Zippo was put on the market. So another important aspect or another advantage of Zippos is of course its lifetime warranty and its interchangeable parts. So with a lot of lighters, especially from that time, the 50s and 60s and the 40s and so on, they don't work anymore because they are just too mechanically complicated. And that's not really a problem that you have with Zippos, because it's just a very simple, easy design. You can just look it up on the internet and immediately know how this thing mechanically works, what the parts are. And the first step, if your Zippo it doesn't work, is just you can identify it via internet and then just order the parts that you need. And worst case scenario, if your Zippo is like very damaged or something like that, there's a lifetime warranty. So you can just send it over to the folks at Zippo via the mail, and they'll just fix it for you free of charge. So, and they will even in some cases give you a brand new Zippo. So Zippo is really known for their customer service, their extreme quality, their very high quality of customer service, of course. And of course, in these days, another, it's not really an advantage, but it's just another point for the Zippo is, of course, they're reusable. Yeah, they're just reusable, and that's of course good for the environment, because the main competitor of Zippos is, of course, the reusable plastic liners that came. That made an introduction around the 1960s, 1970s, something like that. Big liners, of course, were introduced, and that was, of course, the downfall of many of these classic lighter brands, like Ronson. Like you have a German lighter brand that was also very popular because it was used by Wehrmacht soldiers and Waffen-SS soldiers during the Second World War. But I just can't. I'll put a card there. So, a photo there. But, of course, when those reusable lighters were introduced, they all kind of fade away. Because, it's just way cheaper to buy a reusable lighter. It's just, But, of course, the Zippos are very environmental friendly, because you just buy a Zippo once and it will serve you for the rest of your life, which is very good for the environment. You're not going to buy plastic lighters that... they will end up in the sea and the ocean and stuff like that. So it's very environmental friendly in that aspect, which is really important in 2024 and for our future. Obviously, there's a heavy focus on being environmental friendly, and that's of course a very good aspect of the Zippo, and why you should buy a Zippo as well. But of course, the Zippo is not all rainbows, roses, and sunshine, really. So with every product, there's of course disadvantages. And with the Zippo, of course, the main disadvantage is that you have to refill it every couple of days. With lighter fuel, that is quite expensive actually. So, and that's really an aspect of the Zippo that a lot of people get, yeah, they get scared from that. Not really scared, but I'm saying they get drawn away from that because from the Zippo because of the constant refueling. But in my opinion, it's not really a big deal because, yeah, it's not like you live in the desert or something, or like some desolate area of the planet. So you can also always have a store near you that you can just buy lighter fuel. So it's not really a big problem. You only have to refill it. You only have to refill the lighter like every couple of days, so it's not really a big problem in my opinion. But the lighter fuel cost and the constant refilling is definitely a big problem for many people. And then of course the initial cost from Zippo, so it's 20 euros as well, but also 20 bucks, so $20 for the most basic model, which I have because I just want a lighter. I don't really care how it looks. And yeah, it's $20. You can buy a lot of disposable lighters for that price, and they work. Yeah, they also work. They also light your cigarettes. So a lot of people think, yeah, why would I buy it? It really, the disposable lighter is really the main competitor of the Zippo, and why a lot of these brands have faded away over, yeah, and especially in the 20th century from the 1960s, 1970s onwards. So yeah, that was everything I wanted to say about the Zippo. And why I love the Zippo, and why I think it should be revalued by society. It should be brought back, especially in these times with stricter smoking laws. Especially when you all have to smoke outside, unfortunately. Let me know what you think about the Zippo. Let me know, will you buy a Zippo after watching this video? Do you also like the Zippo? Or are you a big fan of the Zippo like me? Or do you still prefer reusable lighters? Let me know that in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!